With us now is Matt Swider, who's a senior mobile editor at techradar.com. So, Matt, here we have Samsung now halting sales of its Galaxy Note 7 because it turns out the phones that people were supposed to get to replace the ones that were going on fire are themselves going on fire. So now what?
Yeah, it's a bit of a recall. It's happening all over again. And the problem that they supposedly fixed really wasn't, fixed in the first place. And these batteries are catching on fire in possibly the worst places. One incident happened on an airplane where it burned through the carpet, and allegedly, it was the fault of the phone, and everybody was evacuated. So everybody has to return their phones once again, and this may be the end of what's otherwise a great phone.
So when you say everybody has to return their phones, now we're talking about, what, millions of these?
Millions, absolutely. It's over 1 million phones that have been sold, and they said, it's 1 million phones just in the United States alone. So it's a worldwide recall, and it's going to be another hassle because the battery is built into the device these days, and they no longer have user replaceable batteries, so everybody has to send their entire phone back at their local carrier or Best Buy or wherever.
And are all of these places equipped for handling this surge of people returning their phones? And by the way, returning their phones for what?
Right. So you'll want either a full refund or you'll want to exchange your phone for a similar phone like the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge or an iPhone 7 Plus, something similar to what you had before. And, the carriers weren't equipped the first time because they kind of danced around the issue. They took several days. They've been taking several days once again, and we'll see if they can handle the load of people because they've gone through this once before. But at the same time, the first time, they weren't prepared in the first place.
What does this do to Samsung's name, and what does it do in terms of the competition, of course, that Samsung has with Apple and Apple's iPhone?
Samsung's name is, going to be dragged through the mud for the next several months, even when they release the Samsung Galaxy S7 8 in next February. That's going to be a big phone, but people are going to follow with stories of, can we trust Samsung, and should we turn to LG or should we turn to Apple? So this couldn't have happened a better time for Google and Apple and all the other phone makers out there that are coming out with new phones, because Samsung had one of the best phones out there, and all of a sudden, poof, it's literally up in smoke.
But here's the issue, though. Is it just that Samsung made a bad phone, a rotten phone, or is there a bigger problem that sooner or later is going to catch up with all phone makers, and that is that consumers and the companies that make these phones are constantly trying to cram more and more stuff into these phones. They're trying to make them thinner. They're trying to get them to work faster. They're trying to get better resolution in their screens, all of which require using more and more energy. And at some point, don't they hit smack up against the law of physics because these lithium-ion batteries just overheat?
You got it. You coined it very well. It's everybody wants a bigger phone or a bigger screen with a minimized bezel and a minimized, make it easier to hold, and they want it thinner. But at the same time, everybody wants longer battery life. So Samsung just may have drawn the short straw in this whole situation, because this could happen to any phone manufacturer with these combustible batteries. They're all technically combustible, and we've seen this before with airplanes, and we've seen it with hoverboards that sometimes they're just not manufactured to the degree they should be, and they become unsafe because it's a lithium-ion battery. And when you're messing with that, it can be a little dangerous, especially if it's something that's in your pants pocket and it explodes and gets set on fire.
And finally, Matt, do you know, is anybody out there trying to come up with a better battery, one that will satisfy the demands of consumers, the demands of the companies making them, but not as likely to go up in flames?
We've seen different battery technology that's very promising, and we run those stories every couple of months, I would say. There's some sort of breakthrough from Stanford or some other university. But those are years off, and everybody gets excited. They post it on social media. Here's the battery that's going to save everything. It's the everlasting gobstopper of batteries. But really, those are several years off. We'll see incremental changes. We've seen batteries recharge a lot quicker, which is also something that makes it volatile. But those are years off, and we may have to do with the batteries that are currently out there for a little while.
Okay, that is Matt Swider, who is senior mobile editor at techradar.com.